Hello everyone, today we're going to show you how to marinate a brisket. It's going to be a slow cooked in the oven brisket. I've been asked many times for the recipe for the marinade and the cooking of the brisket, so I figured this would be a good way to get the recipe out there. You're going to start off with a 10 to 12 pound brisket. You're going to trim the fat off, and just don't take off too much fat because fat does give it some flavor. Our marinade ingredients, you'll see the 2 cans of beef consomme. You can use any brand. About 12 ounces of soy sauce, which is about a cup and a half, so that way if you have a bigger bottle you can just measure it out. A cup or so of real lemon juice. You can squeeze your own lemons. I prefer to use the bottled. It's just as good to me. Liquid smoke, I do about 3 tablespoons of liquid smoke. If you like it smokier, you can use more. If you like it less smoky, you can use less. But like I said, this is going to be an in the oven recipe. That way it gives you that little bit of smoke that most everybody likes with their meat. And then we also do 4 tablespoons or so of minced garlic. You can always use fresh if you prefer. Minced garlic is just so easy to use. What we're going to do, we're going to combine all of these ingredients in a large pan. We're going to stir it together. And then we're going to place our trimmed brisket fat side up in the marinade. And then you're going to spoon the marinade over the top of the fat. Okay, now we have the brisket in the marinade. We spoon marinade over the top. You're going to put it in your refrigerator or cooler. Cover it tightly with aluminum foil for about 24 to 48 hours. Okay, whenever you're ready to cook it, you're going to preheat your oven to 300 degrees. You're going to place it inside your baking pan, pour some of the marinade along in there with it. You may not have room for all of it depending on how big your baking pan is. Just make sure that you put your brisket in your baking pan, fat side up, covered tightly with aluminum foil in a 300 degree oven. And you're going to cook about 40 minutes or so per pound of brisket. So let's say if you have a 12-pound brisket, you're going to cook it for about 8 hours. Okay, make the math a little bit easy there. So about 12-pound brisket's about 8 hours. At the end of your 8 hours, when you pull it out of your oven, let it sit for 15-20 minutes if you have time. That'll help the juices redistribute, and it'll make it a juicier, tastier brisket. And what I usually do when I take mine out and uncover it, put it on a cutting board and use my electric knife to slice it, I usually start from the thin end and slice up. The smaller end is usually the prettier end of the brisket. The other end, what I usually do, will save that. You can freeze it, or you can keep it in your refrigerator for a couple of days to make barbecue brisket sandwiches, or it reheats easy in the oven or a crock pot. So that's 2 meals you can make for one big brisket, maybe even 3. Thanks for watching. We'll be having more recipes and more tasty dishes coming your way. If there's something that you are looking for a recipe for, or you have a question about, just leave your recipe idea in the comments and we'll see what we can do to get a good video over to you. Share with your friends. Please like and subscribe and let me know what ideas you have. Thanks.